Yo, welcome back to Cafe Zealot. Every so often, a single word or phrase will catch my attention, and one that's been stuck in my head is Ava ripoff. Basically, we're talking about shows that dive into post-apocalyptic worlds, get real philosophical, and sprinkle in some religious undertones. What I love about Ava is that it opens doors to dozens of other hidden gems, experimental pieces, and just plain misunderstood series. Now, if I had to pick one show that captures that post-Ava spirit without drowning in its own shadow and delivers themes of survival, identity, and closure in a way that feels complete, it would be Blue Gender. In a world overrun by giant insects, two strangers find hope in each other. Welcome to Blue Gender, a 26-episode post-apocalyptic sci-fi anime from 1999. This hidden gem combines intense mech battles and survival horror with an emotional love story between its lead characters, Yuji Kaido and Marlene Angel. Today, we'll take a retrospective look at how the relationship unfolds against a backdrop of survival, loss, and humanity's fight to reclaim Earth. And if you enjoy this dive into Blue Gender, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more retrospectives. Blue Gender drops us into a terrifying future. Yuji Kaido wakes up from cryogenic sleep in the year 2031 to find Earth infested by monstrous insectoid creatures called the Blue. Humanity's survivors have fled to an orbital colony, Second Earth, and hardened soldiers like Marlene Angel are sent to recover sleepers like Yuji who were in stasis. From the start, Yuji and Marlene could not be more different. Yuji is confused and compassionate, an ordinary young man horrified by the nightmare he's awakened to. Marlene, on the other hand, is a by-the-book soldier, cold and focused on her mission. Her orders are clear: treat any people left on the surface as already dead. Since resources are too scarce to save everyone, this harsh policy shocks Yuji, who can't accept writing off survivors so easily. As they travel across a ruined Earth infested with Blue, Yuji witnesses one tragedy after another. Their squad is ambushed repeatedly, and all their fellow soldiers are destroyed, leaving Yuji and Marlene on their own. Yuji experiences crushing loss. He watches friends like Joey and even innocent survivors die horribly, and he feels powerless to save them. In one early encounter, Yuji impulsively risks himself to rescue a little girl left behind, while Marlene initially scolds him for attracting more Blue with his compassion. Survival comes at a steep cost. Yuji must learn to fight, and Marlene must confront the humanity she's tried to bury. This harsh beginning highlights Blue Gender's core themes of survival and loss. Humans doing whatever it takes to stay alive, sometimes at the expense of their own empathy. Yet amid the despair, Yuji and Marlene begin depending on each other. After losing everyone else, they're forced to work together as a team of two. Yuji's kindness slowly chips away at Marlene's icy exterior. During their trek to a space launch site, Yuji and Marlene start to bond, softening Marlene's sharp edges. We see small but meaningful changes. Marlene begrudgingly lets Yuji train to fight and protects him in battle, while Yuji supports her and refuses to abandon hope. In one quiet scene on a freezing night, Marlene even huddles up to Yuji for warmth, a hint that the heartless soldier is beginning to trust him. By the time they reach the Baikonur space base in Kazakhstan, that initial distrust has turned into genuine camaraderie. Yuji's optimism and resolve to protect others start rubbing off on Marlene even as she teaches him how to survive. The turning point in Yuji and Marlene's relationship comes during an explosive battle at the space launch base. As they prepare to escape Earth, a massive Blue attack nearly wipes everyone out. Marlene becomes the last pilot standing and is about to self-destruct her mech rather than be taken by the Blue. In this desperate moment, Yuji refuses to leave her behind. He charges back into danger with reprogrammed battle robots at his side to rescue Marlene. Yuji literally fights through a horde of Blue to reach her, shouting that he won't go to space without her. Thanks to Yuji's determination, Marlene is saved at the last second. She's overwhelmed. This is the first time someone has risked everything for her. Yuji's selfless act is a profound emotional breakthrough for Marlene. The Ice Queen finally cracks. She realizes how much Yuji cares about her and how much she has come to care about him. On the shuttle ride up to Second Earth, Yuji tends to Marlene's wounds from the battle. The tension between them has changed. It's no longer just soldiers and civilians, but two people who deeply value each other's lives. They finally drop their guards and share their feelings. It's a tender moment in the midst of chaos. Yuji and Marlene embrace, implicitly confessing how important they've become to each other. For a brief moment, they find solace and even a hint of happiness. In fact, Marlene, who once seemed incapable of sympathy, actually smiles and opens up to Yuji. Unfortunately, their private moment is interrupted by a stowaway Blue that attacks Yuji on the shuttle, critically injuring him. Marlene's newfound feelings are immediately put to the test as Yuji is ripped away from her, bleeding and unconscious. Arriving on Second Earth, the two are forcibly separated by the military leadership. Marlene is sent for retraining and Yuji is rushed into a medical lab. The authorities view him not as a person, but as a valuable sample because of the unique B cells in his body. Not knowing if Yuji is even alive after the shuttle incident, Marlene is beside herself. The once cold soldier openly rebels against orders in her determination to find Yuji. We see how far Marlene has come emotionally. She risks punishment and fights through the space station's halls because, as she later admits, she can't let Yuji go. In a dramatic confrontation with the Second Earth High Council, Marlene refuses to stand down. The commanders sneer that she's acting irrational just to find a sex partner. But Marlene, struggling to explain feelings she's never dealt with, simply says she doesn't know why, only that she cannot abandon Yuji. It's as close to a confession of love as her military mind can manage. Hearing this, Yuji wakes up and intervenes in the hearing. In a bold move, Yuji agrees to cooperate with the military's plans to fight the Blue, but only if Marlene remains by his side. He flat out declares he will accept nobody but Marlene as his partner in battle. This ultimatum makes it clear to everyone that Yuji and Marlene are now a package deal, bound by trust and affection. The authorities, seeing Yuji's resolve and perhaps recognizing the bond as motivation for him, reluctantly agree. Reunited at last, Yuji and Marlene officially become a team again, now fighting not just for humanity's future, but for each other. The reunited couple joins new campaigns to reclaim Earth, but their trials are far from over. Blue Gender's second half puts Yuji and Marlene through severe tests that only strengthen their emotional connection. They return to Earth as part of an elite unit of sleeper soldiers, including a cocky young man named Tony and a timid girl named Alicia. In battle after battle, Yuji's skills grow, yet so does his inner darkness. Traumatized by past losses and altered by the experimental B cells in his blood, Yuji begins to change in disturbing ways. He becomes angry, reckless, and obsessed with killing the Blue, often competing with Tony in a deadly tally. Over time, Yuji shows very little regard for human life, charging into fights with an almost frightening bloodlust. This is a shocking shift from the gentle, empathetic guy he once was. Even Marlene, who herself was coldly pragmatic before, is alarmed. Yuji's actions deeply concern Marlene, and she realizes something is wrong with him. In a tragic role reversal, Yuji has become what Marlene used to be, a hardened warrior willing to sacrifice others to achieve the mission. Meanwhile, Marlene's own humanity blossoms. Thanks to Yuji's influence, she can't ignore suffering anymore. She starts protecting civilians and even disobeying orders that she once would have followed blindly because that's what Yuji would have done. The two have effectively rubbed off on each other. One of the series' brilliant insights is that Yuji and Marlene undergo opposite character transformations. By the end, each has gained traits of the other. Marlene defrosts from an emotionless soldier into a compassionate fighter guided by her heart, while Yuji, scarred by war, teeters on the edge of becoming an emotionless killing machine. Yet their love is the anchor that keeps both of them from spiraling completely. Marlene, especially, becomes determined to save Yuji's soul just as he once saved her life. This all comes to a head in one of the most powerful scenes of the anime. Yuji, driven by rage and his mutating B cells, goes berserk on the battlefield. He even turns his guns on fellow humans in his frenzy to destroy the Blue. Marlene rushes to stop him, only to have Yuji, in his fury, attack her too. It's a heartbreaking clash. Yuji is so consumed by anger and pain that he's forgotten himself, while Marlene refuses to give up on him. She literally puts herself in his line of fire, trying to get through to the man she loves. Marlene pleads with Yuji to remember his humanity. When words don't reach him, she does something drastic. She pulls Yuji into a kiss right on the battlefield. This courageous act shocks Yuji's system. Marlene's genuine emotions finally break through his madness. In that moment, the fury in Yuji's eyes fades, replaced by tears and realization. Thanks to Marlene's love and human touch, Yuji regains control of himself. It's an incredibly emotional turning point. Marlene saves Yuji by reminding him that he is loved. The scene exemplifies how Blue Gender uses romance not as a side note, but as a literal lifesaver amid the sci-fi carnage. From here, Yuji and Marlene stand together through the final challenges. They face Tony, who has descended into a fanatic believing he's a messiah meant to wipe out humanity, and suffer more losses. Their close friend Rick is killed, and even the misguided Alicia meets a tragic end. But Yuji and Marlene's bond emerges stronger than ever. After defeating the crazed Tony and ending the immediate blue threat, the couple finally gets a moment to breathe. Only now does Yuji fully grasp how far he had fallen. He becomes depressed and guilt-ridden, questioning why he was awakened at all and if everything they did was for nothing. Once again, it is Marlene who reaches out to pull him from the brink. She comforts Yuji and reassures him that he's not alone. She is still here with him, and together they have something to live for. They realize how much they need each other, and at last openly become lovers. In a quiet, intimate scene, Marlene and Yuji embrace and share a long, gentle kiss, affirming their love. After all the hardship, they choose hope together. This love isn't portrayed as a fairy tale ending, but a hard-won, deeply human connection. Beyond the romance, Blue Gender explores big ideas about human identity and our relationship with nature, and it uses Yuji and Marlene's journey to do so. The blue creatures, while terrifying man-eating monsters on the surface, are revealed to be more than mere aliens. They are actually a creation of Earth itself, a defense mechanism the planet unleashed to purge humanity. In other words, the blue are a metaphor for Mother Nature fighting back. Humanity had become a threat to Earth, and the blue were like an immune response to cleanse that threat. This theme casts the entire war in a new light. It's not just humans versus bugs, but humans versus the consequences of their own actions. Yuji and the other sleepers even carried the same B cells that created the blue, blurring the line between human and monster. At one point, Marlene learns the unsettling truth that sleepers like Yuji could potentially turn into blue if their B cells go out of control. This puts Yuji's struggle into perspective. Inside him is the very thing that nearly cost humanity the planet. His inner battle, maintaining his humanity versus giving in to fury, mirrors the outer battle against the blue. The love story plays a key role in highlighting what makes someone truly human. Marlene was raised to be a soldier first and a person second, but through Yuji, she rediscovers empathy, kindness, and love, qualities that define our humanity. Yuji nearly loses himself to violence, but Marlene's compassion brings him back. It suggests that our human identity isn't just our DNA or whether we have B cells, it's our capacity for feelings and connection. Marlene even remarks at one point that Yuji taught her what it means to feel alive and human again. By the end, when Yuji seeks the will of Earth, he isn't trying to destroy the blue out of hatred anymore. Instead, he wants understanding and coexistence. In the final mission, Yuji enters the very heart of the blue's nest and gains a vision of the Earth's perspective. He comes to understand that humans and the blue, or rather, the forces of nature, must find balance to live together. His solution isn't a weapon or a cure, it's wisdom. This realization completes Yuji's identity arc. From a frightened boy, to a rage-driven soldier, to finally a compassionate man who values all life. The Earth itself seems to acknowledge this change. In the last scene, as Yuji and Marlene stand on a restored Earth, a voice, the Earth's consciousness, gently says, "Welcome to your next journey." It's as if the planet is giving humanity, led by people like Yuji and Marlene, a second chance. At its core, Blue Gender is a story about finding hope and love in the darkest of times. The epic fight for Earth, with all its battles, gore, and sacrifice, is made meaningful by the emotional journey of Yuji and Marlene. Their relationship transforms them both for the better and ultimately becomes the key to humanity's survival. This isn't a typical cheery romance plastered onto an action plot, it's an integral part of the narrative. The love story elevates Blue Gender from a standard sci-fi war anime to something heartfelt and memorable. Despite all the loss depicted in the show, Yuji and Marlene earn their happy ending. In the final moments after ensuring Earth is safe, they watch a beautiful sunset on their reclaimed homeworld. They've saved each other in every possible way, physically, emotionally, and even spiritually. With a baby on the way and the war finally over, the two look forward to a peaceful life together on Earth. It's a bittersweet but hopeful conclusion. humanity gets a fresh start, and it's the bond between two people that made it possible. Few late 90s anime went as far as Blue Gender in showing a romance that leads to a happily ever after, or as close as you can get in a post-apocalypse. This makes Blue Gender feel like a hidden gem, especially for fans who love a good mix of action and heartfelt drama. Blue Gender may not be as famous as some other sci-fi anime of its era, but it remains a standout for those who have seen it. It's more than just humans fighting giant bugs, it's about humanity fighting to remain human. The love between Yuji and Marlene is the emotional core that drives the story forward, illustrating themes of trust, sacrifice, and hope. If you're an anime fan who enjoys sci-fi with a side of genuine emotion, Blue Gender deserves a spot on your watch list. It's a gripping saga of survival, but also an intimate tale of two hearts finding each other when everything else falls apart. That blend of high-stakes action and emotional depth truly makes Blue Gender a hidden gem worth rediscovering. So, what did you think of Yuji and Marlene's journey? Did their love story in the midst of chaos surprise you or stick with you? Let me know your thoughts and favorite moments in the comments below. If you enjoyed this retrospective on an often overlooked classic, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the cafe to stay caught up. And remember, in the end, Blue Gender reminds us that even in a world filled with monsters, it's the human heart that makes the difference. Peace out, zealots.